Nini everyone, Zabora here. I apologize if you hear any humming or buzzing. My neighbors are drilling. They're remodeling next door, so you can hear that. Alright. So, the discussion that took place on Facebook, and before anyone flips out, I do have permission to use these images. The discussion that took place was somebody from the UK who is kind of practicing hoodoo wanted to know what was going on with the candle. Now, they had a 7-day jar candle like this one here that had a crack in it before they started using it. But they're like, it's kind of expensive to get these certain types of candles that are specific for hoodoo in the UK because, hey, shipping's a bitch. So they just went ahead and used it anyway, but they wrapped tape around the candle. Just like I've got tape wrapped around this candle. That was more for shipping purposes, not so much because of breakage, but it was to prevent breakage. Now what happened was where the cracks were or whatever, as the candle heated and it melted, it forced wax through those cracks. And it had created this bulge. So there's the image. Now, as you see here, I've highlighted this different spots so you can see basically where it started creating this ring around the wax. So the question was, is that going to affect the magic? Now, there are several different forms of reading candles while it's lit. Reading the wax that's poured into water. Reading the remains of empty candles that are all used as valid forms of divination in order to interpret if your spell is working. So, ones that I don't know of talk about what some of the other people were discussing, which is don't use candles that are cracked or damaged or anything else, which kind of contradicts everything that I've been taught. Now, I don't know too much about hoodoo. Like I said, mainly what my understanding comes from is, let's see, I've got a book right over here. Yeah. Cat Ironwood and Hyatt, which is post-industrial hoodoo. So I don't know. I could be wrong here. But Cat Ironwood talks about fixing wicks and doctoring wicks and trying to save spells. So I don't know. That's just not something that I personally agree with. I think that if you're able to save a candle, then you're able to save a candle. I think that what happened in this image was that there was a scientific reasoning behind it. There was a change in temperature between the hot and the cold, and it forced the hot to expand, and it came out the little hole, the crack. Okay, that's what I think happened. I don't think that there's any witchcraft associated with this, and the reason why, or any blockages associated with this, traditional methods for reading candles in hoodoo state that you want to avoid things like soot, cloudiness, any kinds of those things, all right? As you see from the candle here, the very top, there's a little bit of cloudiness, but it also looks like this candle may have been dressed. So it looks like there could have been oils or something else associated with it. If you look towards the middle here, you notice that it's burning pretty clean. It's actually really clean for a candle. So I don't see any kinds of blockages, and if there is blockages, it kind of looks like it's busting through them. So that's my interpretation of this candle. Now, candle reading with jars, like this one, can be a little bit different than reading freestanding candles, like this one, okay? And like I said, there's different signs you're going to be looking for. With these types of freestanding candles, you want to see if there's any kind of clinger-ons. You want to see the shapes it's turning. With the jar candles, you're not going to be able to really do that because you're having a container that is kind of help mold and contain the shape and all that. So that's just my opinion. So I think that this candle looks fine. If you, as the practitioner, feel that there's something wrong, and you may do that because you are asking about this. If you, the practitioner, feel this is wrong, redo it. And you don't have to use the expensive candles. You can go to like any store that sells these little jar candles, the blank jar candles at that. You don't have to have anything with fancy images or saints or whatnot. You can get blank jar candles and use those. You don't even have to use those. You can use birthday candles. I happen to really like candles and incorporate candles a lot in my workings. So I happen to use like the bigger candles. But seriously, you get yourself some chime candles, works just as well. Especially for long-term spells that require you to burn certain candles in sections, certain these big ones. You can get 7 black candles and burn those once a day, and it's the same fucking thing as burning a candle in sections. So, my opinion, but what do I know? So, that's just my take on that. So, that's it for tonight, guys. Synaptic.